What up, what up, what up? Welcome back to the Two Goat Show. We're your hosts, Miriah and Steph. Steph, happy Two Goat Thursday. Good to see you. How you doing?
Happy Thursday and happy first day of training camp being open to fans. So yeah, I was there and it was good times.
Yes. So good to football to be back, like to actually see our guys on the field. Before we get started into anything, just tell me, being there, opening, practice, the guys start running out, the vibes, how are they?
I think the vibes were immaculate. I know the big question is, this team is coming off a Super Bowl loss. What will the vibes actually be like? I feel like they were positive and, starting with the rookie hype machine, it was a pretty good one. And then after that, you get some of the other vets kind of dancing along as well. So I don't know. I felt like it was a good vibe out there.
Good. Love to hear it. Chat, what's up? Happy Thursday. Hope everybody's doing great. Hope you've all had a great week so far. I know yesterday when I did my show, a lot of people I haven't seen in a while are starting to come back. So welcome back to those of you that are just coming back from your football break. It's good to see everybody. I hope everybody's had a great break. Throwback, first in the door. Appreciate you, sir. Don, as always, appreciate you. Jimmy, what up? Thank you so much. Ty, what's up? Everybody, what's up? Appreciate you guys. So Steph, let's get into what you saw there at training camp. We'll kind of, go through each position group. Some of them I have, some specific guys to ask about. Others just, let us know what you saw. But before we get into any of that, I know there's some videos surfacing around of, John Lynch hanging out at practice with a fellow friend in Brandon Ayuk. How did that situation appear to be to you?
When I first spotted Brandon Ayuk in today's practice, I honestly I didn't even notice that he was there until like team periods, and at that point he was like off to the far side with Teleno Hufanga, who was also like in street clothes, just watching, observing, and they were just talking to each other, like watching the team periods. So, that was when we couldn't even have our cameras out. The fans, at least, couldn't have their cameras out and couldn't film anything. So otherwise, I would have taken a picture. But yeah, because he went back right before we were able to get our cameras back out. It's like he knew. So yeah, but yeah, I mean, it just seemed. Honestly, this is fully speculation, but you just asked me my interpretation of how I see it. He looks disgruntled on like the sideline. I can only imagine again speculating. I gotta say that, be very clear that it just looked like he was talking to Teleno Hufanga and maybe venting to Hufanga about all everything that's going on. I don't know that, but it looked like as he was talking, he looked not annoyed, but just like what it looks like when you're just like, the gestures, the hand movements, there was just something about it that I'm like, yeah, he doesn't look happy.
Interesting. I mean, and who would, right? Like if you're in his position, like going through all this shit and your team's out there practicing and you're kind of just stuck there. Yeah, I wouldn't imagine that you'd be probably, too thrilled. All right. Let's start with quarterbacks. I know, a lot was going on about some throws that Purdy had. Another quarterback that's thrown a couple interceptions back-to-back days. Kind of let us know what you saw from, obviously our starting quarterback and then those competing for the backup spot behind him.
Yeah, well, I think Brock Purdy looks very comfortable. Like he looks in complete command of the offense of the team as he should. Like this is the first training camp in as long as I've been going to any of these training camps where there isn't a question at all about who the QB1 week 1 is going to be, right? So that's a great feeling. And Brock Purdy just looks like a guy who knows that. Like he
Mm-hmm.
team starting quarterback. So it's really great to see. I have nothing concerning or anything in particular to say about Brock Purdy. I thought he looked good. As far as the number twos, Joshua Dobbs and Brandon Allen were rotating second team snaps. So, one time it'd be Brandon Allen getting the second team, then Dobbs, and then they'd switch off who would get the third too, right? Vice versa. Joshua Dobbs still looks like he's getting used to things. Like
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't look very comfortable yet. And I feel like a lot of would be sacks come like during when he's the quarterback, right? Like it doesn't look like he's finding guys very quickly. And if he does, like there's just some misconnections still.
Right.
He's not all the way there with the group of guys that he's working with. He doesn't look very comfortable. Brandon Allen, on the other hand, does look comfortable. It's his second year with the team, with the playbook. So yeah, I mean, I think it's showing right now, and it's just like the second day of training camp. So I'm gonna give Dobbs some time, but as of right now, I mean, Brandon Allen has like the QB2, the backup position, in the bag. Again, it's early, so that could change. But
Right.
as of right now, that's what it's looking like.
I'm wondering though if that will change because it seems like, yeah, obviously it's the second day. Brandon Allen's been, in this offense in this playbook book longer, right? But the issues that Dobbs is having, although early, seem to be the same issues that he had. Well, he was starting at this place and starting at that place and starting at this place. And still, yeah, he was thrown into terrible situations and all that plays a part
Yeah.
into all of this, but I'm just wondering, if even, he does get comfortable and get the playbook down, do is the accuracy something that we see get better? Is the, like all those things that he's had an issue with up this far in his career, do we see any of that get better? Time will tell, but
It's a
interesting.
fair question. Yeah, it's a fair question. I think like I'm used to seeing him when he's like with a new team, he's like firing on all cylinders, which is like the weird thing, right? He
Mm-hmm.
gets thrust into these positions, a starting position, and he like it seems like he figures it out so quick. It just doesn't look that way right now with the 49ers. And I mean, it could just be the fact that 49ers playbook is more complicated than maybe some of the other ones he's had to deal with. So I don't know, but yeah, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, and I'll give him some more time to look comfortable.
Yeah, definitely interested to keep an eye on that. And it's funny because once again we go into the you know training camp and the battles of training camp and our questions about the backup quarterback. And I swear a lot of other fan bases and organizations don't have as much questions or spend as much time worrying about the backup quarter spot as the 49ers fans do. And I'm actually not as normally I'm worried about it, right? Because our quarterback would always get hurt. So we had to know what's going on with our backup quarterback. And now this season, I'm kind of not worried about it, but interested about it because just something about Dobbs intrigues me. Like I know probably,
Yeah.
Allen getting the spot is probably maybe the safer, you know, thing to do, but is it as fun? Is it as exciting if he goes in there? No, like, come on. So that's why, just something about Dobbs, like as soon as we signed him, I'm like, oh, I like this, because he's just fun to watch. If we have to, for some reason, see our backup quarterback go in there, at least it's kind of fun. Let's get into the guys that protect our quarterback, and let's do both sides of the line. obviously, starting with the O-line, the big thing, Trent Williams, not at practice again. They officially put him on the did not, show up list, whatever. So
whatever it's called.
yeah, whatever that thing is. Tell me how the O-line looked without Trent Williams there. Because yesterday, I had said I'm not really worried about the Trent Williams thing because I think one, it gets figured out. Because we saw what happened last time Trent Williams was in his contract talks and it came down to the last second and Kyle's like, oh no, pay this man, right? Like, we know how much Trent Williams means to the 49ers and how much the 49ers need him. Trent Williams also knows how much he means to the 49ers and the 49ers need him. So I just think, if it comes down to it, Kyle will pick up the phone again and say, pay him, get him in here. And he doesn't practice every day anyways, right? So him missing these practices, being who it is, I don't think it's hurting anything for the young guys to be getting some reps that they for sure probably need. But tell us, how did the O-line look? Obviously, without Trent Williams out there, who was the starting guys out there, and then what did the D-line look like going up against them?
Yeah, so before I go into the trenches here, I do just want to say that just remind everyone they're not in pads yet, so that does kind of skew the offensive line, defensive line. It generally gives an advantage to the defensive line because offensive linemen do kind of rely on the pads and all that a little bit more, and so yeah, I would say just take that with a grain of salt. And so as far as the offensive line left tackle was Jalen Moore, and then left guard was Aaron Banks, followed by Brendel. And interesting enough, Brendel and Feliciano were rotating center snaps with the first team. So shout out to Brad because he pointed that out to me. I hadn't even noticed that at first, but yeah, that is interesting. And so at right guard, it was Spencer Burford the entire practice of first team, which I don't know what their strategy is, what they're trying to see necessarily there. So I don't want to speculate too much. It could just be like one practice, they do it one way, and maybe next practice is going to be something else, but definitely something to keep an eye on that. And then right tackle was Colton McKivitz. Obviously, you can tell the difference when Trent Williams is not there. I mean, going from Trent to Jalen Moore is a huge drop off. And just quite frankly, Nick Bosa can make anyone look foolish, but especially if you're not Trent Williams. If you are Jalen Moore, he is going to make you look like foolish. So
not even fair to Jalen Moore. Like, poor guy.
Yeah, no, seriously. And then also, like I said, to add on to the fact that they're not even wearing pads yet, right? That's gonna give Nick Bosa the advantage as well. And so, yeah, I really hope the 49ers resolve this with Trent Williams soon because I want Nick Bosa to, go up against some real competition and, iron sharpens iron and all that. So yeah, Nick Bosa was wreaking havoc out there. It just seemed like every time, no matter who he lined up against, he was able to get pressure on the quarterback, and he's doing Nick Bosa things for sure. And then so as far as the defensive line, aside from Bosa, it seemed like the very first starting unit for them is Bosa, Hargrave, Malik Collins, and Leonard Floyd, which I think that looks like a pretty strong group right off the bat. And then they do rotate some of the other guys. So Gross Matos and Jordan Elliott. Jordan Elliott was on the interior. I believe I saw Gross Matos on the outside. So they were rotating those guys as well. They have different units for the defensive line. But yeah, the starting group is really solid. And they all look pretty good, honestly. Like I said, I think Dobbs and Brennan Allen dealt with pressure today and would have been sacks, right? So the defensive line looks good. It looks pretty good. Austin Bryant is someone who stood out to me today. There was like 3 or 4 consecutive snaps that I noticed he won. He's like the speed rush guy. He's dealt with injuries in the past a bit, but yeah, he looked pretty good. I believe he was going up against Ben Parker on those reps that I saw. But yeah, it's a good battle between those two guys. If anything, like it's good for the quarterbacks to face some pressure, I think, in these practices as well.
Yeah, that's we heard from Hargrave, after practice, and something I found interesting that he had said was they had asked him about his, familiarity, whatever, with the system, or some question like that. And he talked about that he's still not even 100% with it, and specifically said it's hard to play in this system. And I found that very strange because we're so used to these guys coming, that have had such up and down or down careers elsewhere. They come here for 1 year, and it's such a D-line friendly system, right? That's what we've heard. And they're able to go and shine and get big paydays elsewhere and go get paid, right? So to hear that from, somebody that's supposed to be like one of the best at his position was very strange. But hopefully he figures it out this season. I'm definitely interested to see how Malik Collins looks there too, filling in now that we don't have Armstead. We so many years had Armstead, obviously when he was healthy, in that spot. So to be starting, with a different name out there, interested to see how that goes.
I mean, I think Malik Collins is definitely underrated. Obviously, he's not Eric Armstead, but I think like the 49ers idea is that they're going to kind of fill Eric Armstead's spot up by committee, right? And so like they'll probably rotate those interior guys a little bit more, and just make sure you get the freshest, best version of those guys when they are out there.
Yeah. Let's head over to the wide receivers. And, as we talked about with the O line, obviously it's not going to be as big of a miss. But, we don't have Brandon Ayuk out there. We don't have Pearsall out there. Obviously you saw, Pearsall on the side. Tell us what you saw from him. And then just kind of what you saw from, our wide receivers. Were we missing, Brandon Ayuk out there?
Yeah, so Ricky Pearsall, yeah, he was running on the side field. It wasn't a jog, it was faster than a jog. If you Because in my tweet I said it was a sprint, and someone was like, that's not a sprint, and I'm like, okay, like technicalities here.
I know. Good.
It wasn't like a full sprint, like full speed, right? It was, but I would call it a sprint or a slow sprint, but faster than a jog. So like in my mind, that tells me like he's pretty close. I would say, to being back. So that correlates with what Kyle Shanahan said, that he would miss like the first few practices, and I think like he's the first block of practices would be these right now, and then they have a day off, I believe Sunday, and then so Monday, I think he'd be back. I don't know, but yeah, it looks like he's on track to be back for the second block, which, like I said, correlates with what Kyle Shanahan said. As far as missing Ricky Pearsall, missing Brandon Ayuk, I mean, I think the quarterbacks made do with who was out there. And Debo caught a number of passes. Chris Conley caught a number of passes. I feel like he was kind of a favorite of the quarterbacks today. Juwan Jennings caught a couple. And Jennings seems to be like really relishing, the opportunity. Like he looks reinvigorated, and that's a good sign, because you see a lot of guys get paid and like sometimes they're like, okay, I'm good. But like I think the fact that Brandon Ayuk isn't there, you're I don't know if he's putting himself out there more, and he just seems to be more energetic. So that's good for Juwan Jennings. Ronnie Bell looked pretty good. He looked comfortable today. Danny Gray has been getting peppered with targets. Like it almost feels like intentional that they want to get him a lot of reps, but I don't know. I could be just looking into it too much, but I think he has a way of getting open just because he's quick, and so quarterbacks lean into that and feel comfortable throwing to him. There were a few times like where there were misconnections, and that he had a couple of reps with Samuel Womack. One rep, I thought Samuel Womack should have been called for a DPI. He wasn't though, and so it was
Don't
just
put
an
that on my boy.
What, Womack? Womack's your
Mm-hmm.
boy? All right, well, tell him not to hold the dude. And then there was another play where Womack got a pass breakup. But from my vantage point, it kind of looked like it hit Danny Gray's chest. But I don't know. Maybe Womack did tip, the pass, and that's why he didn't catch it. But yeah, so they had a couple of reps going up against each other, and again, like I just feel like the quarterbacks have been liking throwing to Danny Gray, even if they haven't all been completions. I think that's a good sign because I think the 49ers, more than ever want to see what they have in Danny Gray. So it's good to see him out there, honestly. Trent Taylor had maybe like the best catch of the day.
Boy.
It was like a diving catch from Brandon Allen. I mean, for A for effort. Like I'll give him that. It's training camp. He looks pretty good.
Anything about Owens? I hadn't seen anything posted about him. I haven't.
No, I didn't really notice him as of right now. So like this is something I do at every camp, but it's usually something I do like after the first couple of days is like I have to write down all the numbers cuz like right now going into it like I don't know everyone's numbers. Like the obvious ones. But there's a lot of new guys. Tariq Owens, I don't even know what his number is, to be
Well,
quite
and then you have
honest with you.
multiple people wearing the same number, so it's like
That
how the
too.
hell?
So yeah, so I didn't notice Tariq Owens today. So can't speak on him.
Yeah, there's like I swear 10 49s on the team. Like I don't know what it is that like every newcomer that doesn't have a
Like
number for him, like they
it's the
throw
throwaway number.
49. Yeah, they're like, yeah, you'll be gone in a couple weeks. Here's 49.
They're like, we had a few of these made already. Here.
Yeah. This is the extra we got from Sourdough Sam. Here you go.
Exactly.
All right. A couple things. I guess so you say that like it, and I felt this way too before you even said this about them like getting Danny Gray the reps. I'm wondering if it's because it's come to that point where it's either like, and especially with so many wide receivers on the team, that it's kind of like we got to see what we have with this guy. Either we get him reps and see. It's like a make it or break it. Either like they have to make a decision with him, right? Like you can't just keep stashing him off somewhere when we have other guys that could be making the team.
Yeah, I think it's twofold, right? Like I think yes, part of it is they obviously want to see what they have with him, and it's kind of like a rush to see what they have because this might be his last shot. And then also just the fact that Brandon Ayuk and Ricky Pearsall is out, like he's been able to move up the ladder and getting more reps because of that, and it just seems like they're taking advantage of that, and Danny Gray is taking advantage of that too.
So with like the starting wide receivers out there, who was it? Debo, Jennings, and Danny Gray?
It might have been Conley, but like they rotate sometimes. So like I think at sometimes it was Conley. I think other times it was Danny Gray.
And then what do you think about the battle for like the return spot? What did you see from that?
So there I saw Ronnie Bell, Trent Taylor, and then Jacob Cowing doing that. I didn't see this because like sometimes I don't always pay attention to like the return guys and just special teams in general, but I saw who was it? One of the beat writers said that it was Nick Wagner. He said, was it Jacob Cowing, I guess, muffed a punt and he got scolded for that, I guess. But when I was watching them, like everyone was catching it comfortably. Like Ronnie Bell, for example, like I said, like that was one thing he struggled with in his rookie season. He looked fine catching the ball from my vantage point. I think obviously that like the most comfortable guy in that is going to be Trent Taylor, just because he has so much experience doing it. He's a veteran, so there's not a lot of pressure on him. And so yeah, I didn't catch the muff punt, but yeah, those three guys have been handling those duties.
I don't want to hear nothing about the words muff punts, okay? Don't let him touch the damn ball again.
Your fade, Taylor, might have to stick around.
Oh man. Let's go back real quick because I see two questions about the O-line, and I know we already passed it, but Throwback's asking about the battle for center. What do you think is happening there? And then also anything about Pooney?
I didn't really notice Pooney a lot today. I was trying not to even focus on like the trenches a lot today just because they aren't in pads yet.
Right.
So like, you notice some things, but I'm not super paying attention to it. So no, I didn't really notice Pooney today. Brendel and Feliciano, as far as I don't know if it's a competition. I don't know if they just want to give Burford more opportunities, but like I guess it does kind of seem like a competition between Brendel and Feliciano, which I think is interesting. But who knows? Like seeing how good Feliciano was at kind of just stepping in at right guard, maybe it's like, hey, like why not we just see what he can do at center as well? He has played at center in the past at previous teams, so maybe they just want to get those extra reps and see what they have. Because like that's how players, get value too when it comes down to roster cuts. And if they could play two positions, that gives you a boost. If you could play two positions and you could play both of them well, I mean, yeah, that's going to give you an extra boost. So it kind of feels like Feliciano is there, and I don't know what happens with Jake Brendel if if Feliciano does beat him out, right? But I would imagine probably they could save some money there. I'd have to look at Brendel's contract, but I want to say Feliciano's deal was a pretty good bargain, all things considered.
Yeah, definitely interested to see what happens there as we make our way through training camp. What's up, Miss Deb? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well.
I saw Deb today in her hat. She was the first person I saw when I walked up. Like it was
you knew
great.
You were going to have a good day after that, right?
Exactly.
We're going to end with this, so you guys just have to wait. Don't worry. I'm not letting her out of here without her hearing from me about what Bosa had to say. We'll find out if she met Bosa yet. Maybe tackled her to the ground. Trent Williams wasn't there to protect her, so
You know what I'm going to tell you right now? You want to save that till the end?
Nope, we're saving it.
Okay, all right.
Paul, good to see you, Paul. All right, let's go on to our tight ends. I keep hearing about this Purdy connection with our new tight end, Eric Saubert, I think is his last name.
Yeah.
Let us know what you saw from the tight ends. I'm interested to see, about that connection. Also, did you see anything from Logan Thomas? Let us know about the young guys. What's going on at tight end, Steph?
Yeah, so tight end has a couple of new guys as well, a number of them. So like I didn't know all of their numbers yet, so it was hard for me to like know who was who. But they did get as a group like a lot of action today. I saw Braden Willis catch a pass. George Kittle was very energetic and caught a number of passes today as well. Eric Saubert I had heard of even before this practice, and I'm not sure I saw a particular play of his where I knew it was him. So I can't really say, but like from the previous practices that I had heard, like Matt Barrows, for example, like thinks he's probably gonna have a pretty solid spot on this team, and he's probably going to be like a blocking tight end, but a blocking tight end who will have like a few catches, for and some like important catches, right? So he actually compared him to like Garrett Selleck, in that type of role. So and when you see him, when I've seen him, like his build is intriguing. Like he looks like sometimes you just look at a guy and you're like, okay, he looks like a tight end you can work with, right? Like just the body type. Like so he has an athletic and big build. That yeah, I think he's intriguing for sure.
I like it. I like it. And I'm glad to hear that, our tight ends are actually getting some action, because like that's for so many years now. Like we're trying to get, like, can
Yeah.
somebody step up and do something? Like go back to that
Yeah.
meme, with the stick, do something, like behind freaking George. Like, come on.
It wasn't just Kittle today. Like I did see Logan Thomas catch a pass, that I noticed, and yeah, I think as a group they were getting some action.
Love it. Love it. Let me see. I had seen, what did I something for you here, but then I have went up to Miss Debbie. Oh yeah, Paul said, love seeing Steph crash Chapman's live earlier at camp.
Had to.
Ty says the price for Steph's autograph went up 100% this season. I'm telling you guys, I haven't forgot. I just, you guys know I have so much shit to do here. But I have a stack of cards, of Bosa cards that are just like, just entry level cards, whatever. And I'm sending them to Steph, and I'm gonna make her autograph them and send them back, and we're giving them away.
Fake autographed by Nick Bosa, signed by fake.
Not with Nick Bosa's autograph, though. It's your autograph. Just on the Nick Bosa card.
That's so funny.
They'd really be even more annoyed with you. All right. Moving
he might
right
sue
along.
me if I did that. He might actually
right.
get sued.
Yeah, right. I know so many Pokemon streamers that do card giveaways, and they like their stream, their chat always has them even sign like the Pokemon cards, like artist cards, like all kinds of shit like that. That's something that happens. So both won't sue shit. Give me a break. I'll sue his ass. Let's move right along to the running backs. Obviously, we know, with no Trent Williams, plus the lines are, like you said so many times, not in pads. But what did you see from the running backs? Because I keep hearing about Jordan Mason having, a camp so far. CMC obviously out there today after not being out there today. And hearing from CMC today, he had said that he thinks Jordan Mason is so much better since the first time he met him. So what did you see from Jordan Mason and the running backs?
That's awesome to hear. Obviously Christian McCaffrey, I don't even need to talk about him. He's still Christian McCaffrey. Jordan Mason did stand out today. And again, like, yeah, I'm glad he pointed out, they're not in pads. Running backs don't get tackled. Like there's no contact, so they're not getting tackled out there. So like to a certain degree, running backs are going to, keep running, and they're going to look better than they would in actual game action. But Jordan Mason just looks very like shifty, and yeah, I mean he looks like how he does every training camp, every preseason. What I have seen is like he's getting more action as a receiver as well, which I think is like it's something that I remember last season. He was saying like, "Hey, it's not that I'm like a bad, receiver. I just haven't really gotten that opportunity, and I want to show people." So I think he got a little bit of that, like in training camp, in preseason last year. But obviously, like it's something that he's been working at, and something that he feels can add value, to his spot on this team. And I did actually notice like him and Elijah Mitchell and Christian McCaffrey were splitting like first team reps, because Christian McCaffrey's on a very, limited snap count. Like, he's not in there every
Right.
single snap. So a lot of the time I was seeing Jordan Mason working out there when it was like Brock Purdy and like the, some of the starters. So that's good to see. I'm hoping this could be something, this type of momentum can go into the regular season, because I always say this about Jordan Mason, that's like he's undoubtedly a good runner, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like there's something else that's keeping him off the field, whether that be the trust in pass protection or maybe like something else he's not doing
Mm-hmm.
right, that like Kyle's like, no, I don't trust you. But hopefully, like, you know, Christian's saying he looks better than he ever has. And I don't know, maybe he's working on those things that, the feedback they've given him. So maybe this is the year for Jordan Mason Hive to stand up.
Yeah, and they asked CMC, like, I guess Shanahan had said, I don't know if it was in his presser, one of his pressers the last couple of days, or maybe one of his pressers during mini camp, sometime during this, off season time. I guess he had mentioned something about like giving CMC less carries, especially like up the gut and whatnot. Because CMC was asked about that today in his presser, like how he would feel about, giving up some of his carries and whatever. So maybe this is the season that we actually see Shanahan trust, a number 2 running back and give somebody else some carries. And, we don't have to see CMC out there getting his ass kicked every single carry. Especially when we're up, like, come on, Kyle, like, get with the damn program here. Like, when we're up freaking 20 points and CMC is still out there running the ball up the gut, like, it just makes me sick to my stomach, especially when we know that we have a capable running backs. But what you said, though, it's something, I don't know if it's Mason's, blocking or what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a fan favorite, that's for sure, with his running, but hopefully, yeah, this is the year that they all get it figured out. What do you think about, those running back, because Garendo, I'm taking it he wasn't out there, right?
Yeah, he was
We
not.
haven't had no updates. I haven't heard no updates on him. I know he was supposed to get an MRI or whatnot to confirm. And then what's his name?
Cody Schrader.
No. Oh my god. The running back, he's been on our team this whole time.
Elijah Mitchell?
Yeah. He's out there getting full reps. Like, what's he looking like?
Yeah, I mean,
Because, like,
he was out there, but like I said, like, they were rotating like the first team reps quite a bit. So I saw Elijah Mitchell out there with first team. Christian McCaffrey was too. Jordan Mason got a couple as well. So like, yeah, I think it feels like all three of those guys got some. It was mostly Christian McCaffrey, but those guys got mixed in.
I'm interested to see, like, going forward, because Kyle had mentioned that CMC, obviously he's not going to be out there every day. So on the days that he's not out there, I'm interested to see, how they kind of split up the carries, like who's getting
Yeah.
the first team carries and whatnot. Because I'm still thinking, if the 49ers end up trading someone as time, trickles closer to the starting of the season. Especially as teams figure out their, what they have in their rooms, and those teams are like, okay, our running back room ain't as great as we thought, or whatever, and they're trying to make a move, and we can trade off Elijah Mitchell.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, it. I just worry about the injuries for Elijah Mitchell, right? And there's, other teams have seen Elijah Mitchell's injury history, and would another team be willing to, make a move for that?
That's why we got
That's,
to keep
I
him
think,
healthy
my
right now.
question. Yeah, we'll
Don't
see
be
what
running
happens.
him to the ground, because as soon as he gets more than 20 carries, then you never know what's going to happen.
Usually
So,
he ends up hurt by the first preseason game. Like,
oh my god.
yeah.
And I hate that, because he was so good, and when he is healthy, he's so good. Like what we got
Yeah.
from him is rookie season, and like me and TL had met him after the rookie season, and he had told us like he was bulking up because he wanted to take on more of the carries, and like he was really bought into what the 49ers had going for him, and it just sucks that like he can't stay healthy.
Yeah.
Really unfortunate. All right, let's move on to the defensive side of the ball and kind of hit the safeties and cornerbacks together. I know that you had mentioned a couple plays Womack had made. What did you see from Mustafa? I know everybody wants to hear about him. Obviously, our cornerback duo in Diamador Lenore and Ward. What did they have going on? And then who were the starting safeties out there when everything opened up?
So yeah, for the starting safeties, it was Jair Brown and George Odom. Um, Mustafa, uh, I think he was mostly with the second team, with Taylor Hawkins, and Mustafa looks good. Like he had a near pick today, and he had a pick yesterday, so he's pretty active in coverage of what it looks like, and he's able to get to a spot pretty quickly. Which I think is helping him in coverage and to make these plays on the ball so far. And it's been nice to see because I think we just assumed that what he's best at is, being in the box and playing around the line. But so far, the plays I've seen him make have been, in coverage. So I think that's good to see from Mustafa, and he looks comfortable and he looks confident, like right off the bat, which I think
Love that.
is a good sign. Um, I the secondary, I want to see them going up against Brendan Ayuk, and I want to see them going up against Ricky Pearsall, right? They got Debo, which, like I said, Debo caught a number of passes today, and he looks good. Conley caught passes, so they allowed some catches here and there. But Darrell Luter got an interception. That was the one that Dobbs threw. Um, and that I think he just like underthrew that one. But like, Luter was in position. He was, in good coverage with his man. I don't even remember who he was covering on that one. I just know it was Dobbs who threw it. But yeah, that's good to see from Luter as well, because obviously, like Mooney Ward and Lenore are going to be like the top two guys. But yeah, after that, it's kind of still a question mark who's going to be beyond those guys. So I'm trying to see who was the corners were rotating. I'm trying to see who was the nickel, like the starting nickel. Because I don't think I wrote it down.
Yeah, because that's a battle.
It's a question mark for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
And I know that you shared that picture of Lenore and Ward, on the side talking. Is that something that you see, throughout practice? Is them continuing to, meet up and share things,
Oh
or
yeah,
how's that
they've
relationship?
so it's not even. Yeah, that picture was Lenore and Mooney Ward, but it's not even just them. Like I actually saw Jair Brown. It was like the three of them like were always together on the sidelines, like when they weren't in like specific positional drills.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was interesting. At some points, like Jair Brown was doing drills with Mooney Ward and Lenore, and so like
Interesting.
they're always working, together, which I think is good that like Jair Brown looks to have a relationship with them because I mean he's probably going to be the starting
Mm-hmm.
safety for this team, and they need to be in lockstep and have good communication with each other. And even something as simple as like having these small communications in practice, like that
Mm-hmm.
could translate to the game and having a good relationship. So yeah, I thought that was cool to see them always together. They were like attached at the hip when
I
they
love that.
weren't in specific drills.
Yeah, and I like that too because, like you said, they're gonna all be starting on the field together, and if Jair Brown's doing their cornerback drills and all that with them, he's knowing what to expect. Where they're even if he's not being used in
Yeah,
that position, which he might be, who knows what they have planned for him, right? But even if not, he knows, okay, well, I know that we did this, so this is what they're going to be doing. This is what
yeah,
I need going to expect from them. This is, so he's learning not just his spot on the field, but the other spots. So that's awesome to
exactly.
hear. Like I love that. Jair Brown is one of my favorite guys, and I can't wait to see what he does this season coming up.
Yeah.
Let's go over to the linebackers. Obviously, D Winters, a lot of talk about him, and what he's looking like so far in camp. So what did you see from him? Also, did you see anything from Devondre Campbell? And who were the starting linebackers out there when it was two of them, and then also when the third one came in?
Yeah, so when it's just two, it's obviously Fred Warner and Devontae Campbell. The third guy, they were kind of like mixing in. Like there were times I saw D Winters there. There were other times I saw Curtis Robinson. So I think it's still a competition between those two. But like as Fred was kind of talking him up, right, a few days ago, I think D Winters has made some improvements this offseason and he looks more confident. So yeah, he was getting reps with the ones and twos. So, he's getting a lot of experience out there. Jalen Graham, who's the rookie linebacker, he looks very lean. Like he looks so skinny out there. So he's probably wait, is he a rookie? Jalen Graham.
No, that he
Okay, yeah, he's a
was the same as drafted the
let's
same time as D Winters, right? I think both
Yes,
are
you're
their
right.
second
Yeah,
year.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You're right. So, like, even more surprising that he's like so lean. I don't know that you would think they would have had him
Like
put on more
too
weight.
lean, like
I mean, to
out of
me, like
position.
a little, honestly, but I don't know what
Hmm.
his specific role is. I guess, like, I don't know.
But
I
still,
mean,
as
he's
a
a backup, right?
linebacker,
But yeah,
interesting.
he's pretty lean. Um,
Interesting.
Yeah, it stood out because I was like, "Who is that?"
Especially because D Winters looks like he's built. Like
Yeah.
he looks like he's like one of the guys.
Yep.
Hmm. I'm very interested to see because like you said, Fred Warner talked up D Winters about having the best mini camp and all that, and then Shanahan talked him up yesterday as well, um, saying a bunch of good things about him. I even played the clip on my show yesterday because I was so shocked to hear Shanahan have so much glowing things to say about somebody, um, and which is Shanahan's been doing more lately. I think we might be getting a softer side of Shanahan. I don't know. I'm going to be keeping an eye on that throughout camp, guys. But yeah, I'm definitely going to want to keep an eye on that battle between D Winters and Campbell to see what ends
No,
up.
no, no. I
No,
think
I
it's more
know.
so.
No, I know I know for the third
Okay.
spot, but I want to see if
Oh,
D Winters can take that spot from Campbell.
damn.
Yeah. That's what I'm keeping an
I'll
eye
keep
on.
an eye on it.
All right. So I think do we hit all the groups? Did I forget anybody?
I think that was it.
I mean, Moody, was he missing? What was he doing out there?
He actually made all of his kicks today.
Yay! Good job, Moody. I knew you could do it, buddy.
Good job. Positive affirmations for Moody.
Yeah. And Ty, says the tight ends got a lot of action. I thought this was a family show. I don't know why you would have ever thought that. What would have gave a thought in your mind to think this was a family show? So, I mean, that's your bad for thinking that. Also, I had seen that Tanya, what's up, sis, had asked what camps, what days you're going to be at camp going forward.
Well, I mean, it depends if I can get more tickets. As of right now, my next day is Tuesday. So that's when I'll be back in there. Yeah, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Tuesday, Wednesday next week as well, or the following week. So August 6th and 7th. But if you guys know anyone who has tickets and has a spare that they're selling or trying to get rid of, let me know.
So what days then do you need tickets for? So I'm not just trying to stalk everybody's life and
let me see.
can...
So as of right now, I need for tomorrow, so 7/26, 7/29, 8/2, 8/3, and 8/4.
All right. So you guys hear that? If you know anybody or you see anybody on social media saying that they have extra tickets for July 26th, July 29th, August 2nd, 3rd, 4th for 49ers training camp, hit up Steph Sanchez. All right. Nick Bosa was asked yesterday during his press conference if he had yet met the GOAT in Steph Sanchez. His answer was no. And he went on to say, about your videos and said how they annoyed him at first, but they're okay, he guesses. So, did you happen to meet Nick yet? And what are your thoughts on what Nick had to say about you?
I haven't gotten to meet Nick. After his response, I'm like, shit, I don't think I ever will meet Nick if I annoyed him that much. But no, like honestly, it was the same like answer he gave when he was asked about it at the Super Bowl. Although like he was in a better mood then, so like it didn't come off quite as quite as bad, I guess. He does seem like almost annoyed that he was asked about it again. Like one time is enough. So yeah, that we'll see. I don't think I'll be meeting him anytime soon. But you know what it is? Like I think I mean, if someone impersonated me, I don't think I would enjoy it. Like
Right.
I don't think a lot of people would enjoy it, especially like look, I don't do it to make fun of him, but like he might get the impression that, people are making fun of him for it. I think people find it funny because it's close to what he sounds like, and like he talks very in a unique way. But I don't think people are like making fun of him. Like I'm not making fun of him, but I could see how he'd get that impression. It'd rub him the wrong way. So
yeah, I was wondering that too. Like, does he think like, dang, is she trying to say like I'm slow, or like, no, buddy, you really are. Like,
right,
that's how you really sound, like she's not just pulling that out of her ass, like it's true. Like everybody talks about it. Like
yeah,
this can't be a new thing, and it's not just him either, it's his brother too, so it's definitely not something that should come off as a surprise, like that anything that you're doing in these videos, so I don't know. And yeah, I can see what Jason's saying too. He's been asked already so many times, and it's like he's the star, like why is he being asked about somebody else, right? Like you're supposed to be asking about me, about my teammates. Like why are you asking me about they called you a Instagram influencer or something. Like why am I being asked about the Instagram influencer that's out there? But I would have thought for sure after the schedule release that they would have set something up for you guys to meet. And like, after that video where he's like, is that really what I sound like? In that video, like, okay, you shouldn't be annoyed anymore. You should know, yes, that's what you sound like for sure.
well, he did say he's over it now, but I don't know, just the way he said it, it was like, I guess.
He didn't sound like he was over it.
Yeah.
He's like, they're okay, I guess. Who was that asked yesterday?
I don't know. I think
Because it didn't sound like
yeah, it was
familiar.
like I think he started following me. I think it was someone. Oh, Chris Alvarez from ABC
Mm.
7 News.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because it didn't
Yeah,
sound like somebody I'm used to hearing, you know.
right. Yeah,
That's funny.
because like obviously it was someone who wasn't at the Super Bowl asking questions. Otherwise, they would have heard probably
Right.
that was asked.
I mean, but still, you think you would have already known that he was asked that too. But, you know, hey, hopefully, you know, we don't go through this all summer long. Every time we hear from Bosa, he's not asked about stuff because then, yeah, he probably is not going to want to meet her and you guys are going to screw up everything. So, could you just shut the hell up? All right. Um, but I would guarantee if I had to go to the Las Vegas Sportsbook right now and bet money that the 49ers are not going to let you leave there this summer without meeting him.
I mean, I hope so. You know,
Like I
it'd be
would be
really
very, very disgusted if they let that happen.
it'd be cool. It'd be cool if I got to meet him. Yeah.
Like everything you did with all this, you know, like,
But he could probably decline. Like if he didn't want to meet me, like he can probably shut it down.
well, give him a choice. He can meet you or he can meet Grant. Like, take one or the other. Come on.
I think he's met Grant before.
Um, anything else you want to talk about that you saw? That anything? Anything you want to tell the good
No,
people
like
about?
we covered a good amount today. I'm glad we went through the entire roster. Yeah, I'm bummed I'm not going to be there for the next couple, but like I said, should be back Tuesday to check it all out.
So you hear that? Find her some tickets for the 26th tomorrow, the 29th. 828384 training camp tickets. Make it happen. And 49ers, make it happen. We need a Nick Bosa and Steph Sanchez meet and greet. Thanks. And then the people are asking for a video. Like we're overdue of a new Nick Bosa video as well. And now you have content, so I'm just saying.
You know, I'm not going to give up too much, but I did have one, a pretty good one planned during this training camp. So,
All right. You guys hear it here first. Keep your eyes out for a new Nick Bosa video coming sooner rather than later. Anything else? What else have you got planned? Are you going live tomorrow? What you got going on?
Yeah, I'll probably go live tomorrow to just recap the
Today?
reports. Like I said, I'm not going to be there. But yeah, I'll just do like a recap of everything that the people who are there have said. And then also like I haven't put out a 49ers fan cave tour in like a week or two. That's gonna change. It took me extra long to like edit the last one, so I'm gonna be uploading that one tonight. So be on the lookout for
Yay.
that one if you guys enjoyed that.
Good, good. Those have been very awesome. I love to see all the cool stuff that, you know, the faithful find and, you know,
Yeah, right?
all the unique things and, you know, just different stuff that's been made by different places and stuff that you can find different places over the United States. Like it's just crazy how much different things that there actually are of the 49ers out there. Like
There's a lot of unique items. And then like
mm-hmm.
I find that there's so much like sentimental stuff too. Like
Yeah.
that's the stuff I love to hear about, just what means the most to them and why it does. I feel like every single person so far has had like a sentimental item in their fan cave. So
Yeah, that's been awesome. Yeah, Jerry's one of
fan
them that
cave,
just
man cave.
back. He just got back from his football break. So Steph has been doing fan cave tours with members of the faithful. So those videos are on her channel. Go check them out. There's some pretty cool stuff.
Steph 49K. If you guys want to
Yep.
check that out.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it. I hope you guys found out all the training camp info you could possibly find out. Before we go though, Steph, what are your I guess give us a percent of how much you think, or how do you think that Trent Williams is going to get signed? Yes, no. BA, yes, no. Where are you at with it right now?
Absolutely. Trent Williams is 100% going to get an extension, or he's going to get a raise of some kind. Yes, he'll be back.
And BA?
BA, so like as of right now, I'm still 50-50 whether BA plays on the 5th-year option or whether he gets an extension before the season.
All right. I hope they both get paid and are back very soon, because like you said, it's not just them missing out on these reps and stuff. It's the players that they're going against too,
Yeah.
So those, iron sharpens iron, but it's true. Nick Bosa and Trent Williams have both talked about how beneficial the time is, that they spend going against each other in training camp. And we know they both missed out on that last season, so for them to miss out on it 2 years in a row, is gonna suck. Like, we need Trent back. And then the same, like with our cornerbacks, like, let's be honest, those other wide receivers, they could probably, go against pretty easily. Like, they need to be going against Debo and Brandon Ayuk out there. Like, they, like, you need that challenge. And, the same, we need Brandon Ayuk and Debo to be going against them as well, so that everybody gets better. So hopefully we get a resolution on everything sometime soon. But, like, the fact that John Lynch and BA are out there together, regardless of, what BA's body language was when he was talking to Huff and whatnot. Like, if I'm pissed off at my boss or whatever so much that, I want out, there's not a resolution, all that shit, I'm not standing there freaking talking to him in front of nobody. Let me just tell you that right now. I'll be all the way the hell over there. You can be over there. Don't talk to me. Either pay me or trade me. Like, simple as that. But the fact that you're going to just be standing there talking to them, who cares what was said, it's some kind of okay sign that things aren't too much in a turmoil, right? And when John Lynch talked the other day, this is something I like and appreciate about John Lynch, is that he was a player. So yeah, he's obviously new and learning and has to be on this side of things now, but he knows how the player feels and has been on that side of things too. So like, that part, when it comes into play for him to have that personable relationship and be able to talk with the players about something that he's been through, I think helps as well. So, we'll see what happens. Hopefully, like I said, we get them paid and get them out there soon, and we can continue to get better. But yeah, Steph, I appreciate you. Appreciate all the info. Hopefully we can get you those tickets so you can get in there and get all the firsthand info for yourself. But it's greatly appreciated, everything that you do. And yeah, chat, much love. Everybody have a safe, wonderful rest of your week. I'll see y'all next week. And me and Steph next Thursday, same time, same place. 2 Goat Show. Like, subscribe, both channels. Steph 49K. Faithfully in Vegas. I don't even know what my channel's called anymore.
Yeah, how you forget your own channels? Mine is okay, but yours?
Yours is easy. We're out of here.
Peace.